Hello there, fellow NPCs. I am Scythe, and stop that. And today we're getting back into Seeds of Chaos. I played this game over a year ago. I started it because it was Halloween back then as well, and I thought it would be cool to play a Halloween-inspired game, or scary game, rather. It wasn't very well perceived back then, but in the past year it has become one of the most viewed videos on my channel, so it is actually a good thing for me and this channel to play this game. It's a good business decision, if you will. But yeah, as I said, it was a year ago, so let's see if the file actually works as intended. On a different device, yeah, exactly, back on my old computer. Maliciously constructed save files can harm your computer. Do you trust this save's creator and everyone who could have changed the file? Yes, I do. Yes. Week 5? What happened to week 4 though? Can I go back? Yeah, this looks pretty much like what happened in the last episode, because I just edited it and now we can get back into it. We are running across the world and trying to make some sort of stronghold for the demons Andaras and the Gisera. So now let's get back into it, shall we? And I was so giddy, so excited about it last time I played, so let's just go for it. Let's go. Week 5. I hope you haven't been forced to do anything truly horrific. Oh, interesting. So many mechanics in this game compared to the other visual novels I've been playing. What's this button do? Ooh, Rowan's Chamber, Throne Room. Ooh, oh, I see. I'm not actually running around the world right now. They did say that me and Alexia could just go back and forth however we pleased. So let's talk. I should go to the library again. There's a book there that I'd like to finish reading. That sounds like it's Alexia talking though. Okay, I guess I can't talk to her. I am a bit confused. Let's go to... What do you mean, hello darling? I just tried to talk to you. Don't worry about me, just focus on finishing the task that Twins have set. I can manage here on my... Okay, I get it. I see. She is really in the NPC sort of thing right now. This is Rowan's Chambers. Throne Room. Hints. Realm Reports. Review Goal. The Twins have tasked me with taking Raeve Keep by whatever means necessary. I should raise an army or try to find an alternate means of capturing the fortress. Raeve Keep can be found by following the path southeast over the river from the portal. Yeah, that's the place I was visiting last time. Good. Hints. Things are going fairly well at the moment. Maybe now is a good time to think about my later plans. Okay. Portal Room. Ah, yes, exactly. Fast travel, I did mention that as well. Continue exploration, I can't even do... Oh yeah, I can. Oh. Holy crap, look at that sprite. It was not very nicely animated, but let's see how it goes. Good afternoon, Clamin. I saw you stepped away from work and was hoping to catch a word with you. Alexia. The goblin woman tapped out her pipe and looked past the woman for a moment at her family bringing in supplies from the portal chamber. She sighed, then stowing the pipe. Yes, I suppose I can spare a minute. I don't suppose you're looking to offload some money you stumbled on. No. Pity. Alright, what is it? You and your family aren't like most of the people here in the castle. Goblin caravans aren't really Karna's supporters, regardless of what rumors often say. What brought you to this castle? Was it the promise of Gisera's portals? I'm afraid that information doesn't come free, at least not for you. One good turn deserves another, if you catch my drift. Are you asking for information or a favor? A favor, just a small thing, I assure you. Just a small thing, I assure you. I can't do much for you, but alright. Wonderful, then I'd be happy to tell you a bit about my history with the twins. It was by chance we joined the twins, but probably not when you suspect. My caravan met up with them on the road before they'd taken up residence in this castle. They needed to bring people and supplies across the waste. We needed their coin. How long ago was that? About 2.5 years. What were the twins like back then? Less entitled, but we didn't talk much since I kept me and mine away from them. A good mother doesn't let demons mess with her family. So why did you take the job if you didn't trust them? Jobs like that are few and far between for goblins, so we usually take what we can get. That said, after the third trip over to the waste for more stuff, I was thinking it was time to call it quits. After all, I have to look out for my family, and endless barrens are no place to raise children. However, it was then that things changed. As Sarah told me, she has managed to get the portal open and was in the process of opening up other gates around the whole of the 6 realms. The goblin tapped a finger to her nose, knowingly. Now I could see the way the wind was blowing if these two could go anywhere in the world at any time. If we agreed, gone would be the days of runs through dirt and sand. Now we could go see woods, plains, or the sea whenever we wanted. Even if the twins' plans don't pan out, this job has probably already made Cloud the richest goblin caravan in the world, and since things just keep getting better here, I have every intention of sticking around until the town bells are ringing. That is one big sentence. Thank you very much for the story. If you're truly grateful, then I'll ask you to one simple thing of you. Certainly. Don't get too fussed up if I or someone from my family makes a move on your husband. Thanks, darling. Alexia was left speechless as the goblin and the matriarch headed off to rejoin the rest of her family, who had just finished unloading supplies. By the time she collected herself and followed after Clamin, they had all left back through the portal. Oh, okay. I see. And the objective we have on V, capture Raeve Keep to the east of the portal. Yeah. But why am I starting over again? So over here, where the cursor is right now, is Raeve Keep. So let's go. Jesus, that was harsh. Very laggy. Raeve Keep visit goal 2. Oh right, I forgot to check how many steps I had. I just assumed I could move around as I pleased. I'm at Raeve Keep, the place you two wanted me to take control of. Excellent. Enter the castle as the hero and gather information. Report back with the strength of the defenses and determine how strong of an army we will need to conquer it. This will be our strongest challenge as of yet. Understood. Rowan openly approached the stone keep. It was one of the smaller castles in Rosaria and served as the seat of power for the Duke of Jael's Fork, his home region. Duke Doran Raeve was not someone that Rowan had any particular fondness for, especially not after he'd been among those that had fled the siege of Karst. Though it was hard to blame the man fleeing with the others, given that he wasn't even a senior noble after Duke Verden died. Still, it was hard not to thinking of the Duke as anything but a pompous coward. Pompous coward. Holy crap, that is kind of rough. Halt! State your name and business in Rowan. The Duke's niece, on the other hand, was an entirely different story. Helena had been too young to serve in the war with Karnas, but in the years that followed she proved to be a very capable soldier and commander. Rowan was proud of her and the reputation she had built for herself. Far more open-minded than her uncle, Helena had beseeched him to train her in swordplay and command. Flattered, Rowan had agreed to her request without stopping to ask what the Duke thought of it. When the Duke's men rode into Arthdale searching for the young woman, he found out that Helena had actually absconded from Raeve's keep after her uncle explicitly refused her permission to seek Rowan out. Thankfully, Rowan had fought alongside many of the men who were dispatched to retrieve her. They were not willing to draw steel on him or Helena, and Helena, headstrong even then, made it clear she would not return unless her uncle personally ordered her. After some back and forth, the exasperated Duke gave Helena his blessings to stay in Arthdale for a season, if only because he himself had no wish to visit the place. She would continue her training elsewhere after that, but made a point to stay in touch with her old master. Her occasional visit to Arthdale were a rare treat, though for some reason they always coincided with Rowan and Alexia getting into marital rows over what felt like nothing at all. Oh. It's good to see you, Helena. I'm glad to see you're vigilant and elegant as ever. The simple compliment had Helena smiling. Her earnest pleasure built upon a foundation of relief to see him. Were she not armed and armored from head to toe in steel, her countenance would have been downright girlish. My apologies, my teacher. I had feared that, well, since the attack on Arthdale and no one has seen you, I long worried the worst had come to pass. And you can imagine what the lords are like when their most famous countryman is missing. Some of them are so frantic that you'd think they were your secret kin. Okay. I doubt that there was that much concern over one peasant villager going away for a year. Alright, most of them haven't cared that much, but at least some of the nobles have been hounding us for answers on what happened to the great Rosarian hero. We thought that maybe the demons were targeting the heroes from the war, but none of the others were armed. Then nothing happened for over a year and everyone's attention turned to dealings with other problems. It didn't have anything to do with me. I've just been trying to hunt down the monsters that attacked Arthdale. They took Alexia. I'm so sorry, Rowan. I assume then that you're returned because you've heard the rumors. Which rumors are those? That the demons have returned. Word of new attacks has started to circle around, suggesting that they're now hitting the other villages in Jael's Fork. Please tell me everything you know. Of course, Rowan. Come into the keep and explain everything there. The Duke will wish to speak to you as well, now that you have returned. I could use your insight as well. The state of things is, well, not ideal. Not ideal? Not ideal. Helena led Rowan to the main hall and dispatched one of the other guards to inform Lord Raeve of their arrival, then informed him exactly what they knew about the attacks. It wasn't much, mostly baseless rumors with a grain of truth sprinkled in. A red demon covered in tattoos was the one unifying detail, which Rowan confirmed was involved in the attack on Arthdale. He figured there was no reason to lie about that, given it was common knowledge at this point. Then it was Rowan's turn to share what had happened to him. He spoke of Alexia being abducted and a demand that he come to the Bloodmean Castle, but then spun it as if he discovered the castle still abandoned and assumed he'd been misled. The ample truth aligning the lie made it easy to tell, though the trust of Helena's face gnawed at Rowan's conscience. But what other choice did he have? After that, I started the journey back home. I only just arrived back in Rosario a few weeks back. It seems strange. I fear that the demons sought to distract me. You said the attacks only started recently. Indeed, their actions don't have an obvious reason behind them. There's something that we're missing here. Oh, my lord. The dame stood up and bowed. Oh, my lord. I see. Rowan turned around and saw the Duke approaching them from behind him. He stood up and gave a customary bow as well. Lord Doran Raeve, it is good to see you again. I'm sure it is. Where have you been, boy? I've barely managed to secure enough food in my cellars to keep mine and my forces through the winter. I fear after we are through that I'll have to reforge my knight's blades into plowshares and send them to the fields. There's no way that the peasants will last. My lord, you've taken all the spare food in Yale's Fork? Everything I could get my hands on. All the upper houses are following the Baron's lead in securing everything we can. I've had to put down a couple rebellions, trying to resist us buying it up too. The Duke took a seat at the head of the table, at which point both Rowan and Helena sat back down. The hero was grateful. He let him clench his fist under the table. Dealing with Doran was always trying, but to hear him so casually talk about starving his subjects. I was explaining to Captain Helena that I'd been to Castle Bloodmean. The demons that attacked Arthdale claimed they'd take up residence there, but when I arrived, I found it was still abandoned from the war. You fool! It was all a distraction, an attempt to get away so their schemes could move unhindered. They're probably responsible for both the famine and the goblins. I see it now. I'll have to inform the Baron. Helena, write a full report at Rowan's account. I'll want to include a copy of it with my letter to Rastadel. He stood up and started to leave the hall. Sire, is that all? Oh yes, go ahead and do hero things, Rowan. Try to undo the damage your absence has caused. Maybe start with those brigands holed up in the forest west of Arthdale. The Lord will clean up the real mess. We'll tell you if you need to stick your nose in it. Well, he's a bit of an ass. With a dismissive wave he departed, leaving the hero amazingly irritated. Was that man always so insufferable? In just a few sentences, he jumped from blaming Rowan for his problems to infantilizing his efforts to keep the peace. You have my apologies, Rowan. My uncle has not grown any less vain in your absence. He rarely speaks well to those beneath him in status. She scowled. Then he's all smiles and the perfect pitch of courtesy when another lord visits. Oh yes, I remember. You had quite a few choice of words for me when you sought me out behind his back. Though I can't say he's been quite that dismissive in the past. He is stressed by the current situation. I think he fears that the Baron blames him for your absence. In the last few months he's been trying to downplay your importance as a hero. Why would he do that? To brush off his problems? Make things seem better off? It isn't my place. I keep my nose as clear from his political grandeur as I can. Now that he's gone, I was hoping that maybe you could take a look at our garrison and offer your opinion. You can tell me the details of your journey at the same time. The hero twitched slightly at this before giving his answer. Sounds good. She shook her head in obvious frustration as she got up. They're all the same, damn traditionalists. Still wishing you would convince him to make me a noble or a knight. Oh, don't bring that up. That was so long ago. 4 years is not long ago. Helena had badgered Rowan about it too, during her stay in Arthdale. She wanted him to gather support and push for the rewards she felt he deserved. He must have had to tell her 24 separate times that he just wanted to live with Alexia in peace. When she finally stopped, it was clear that she wasn't satisfied with the answer. She just realized there was no talking him into it. Helena cleared her throat, lifting her chin and moving past the subject. She held out a hand to Rowan. Shall we? Rowan chuckled at her presented hand. Isn't it usually supposed to be the man who helps the woman rise? Only if she's a lady. I am first and foremost a knight. Accept her hand, stand on your own, tease her. Ooh, tease her? Ooh, I want to know what that is, but I kind of want to accept her hand too. What is teasing her? Remembering how red-faced a single comment could once make her, Rowan smirked and spoke as he began to rise. You'd have to wear a helmet for anyone to really think that, Helena. You're much too pretty. Clearly, being a lady and a knight are not mutually exclusive. Her eyes widened, and just as she did back in Arthdale, Helena's cheeks began to bloom rose red. Beneath her embarrassment, she seemed to be grappling between pleasure and offense. Is she actually biting her lips there? Kind of looks like it. What? Rowan, you can't say things like that. Not when where any of my men might hear them. Please, I wouldn't want them to get the wrong idea. Rowan chuckled. I'm sorry. Old habits. She didn't seem to mind after that. Rowan had to remind himself that despite her trust and comfort, he would soon be betraying her. Yeah. That is true. It's... man, I'm so used to playing the hero in these games. In visual novels. The protagonist. Being actually one of the bad guys is gonna throw me for a loop. The two of them inspected the barracks, the fortifications, and the food stores. For all of Helena's worries, Rowan had to admit that things were far better than he thought. What few forces they had were well trained, and there were plenty of supplies in the event of a siege. Still, it was a peacetime garrison, one that mostly existed as simply a formality rather than a legitimate military force. Most of the knights were veterans from the war, serving as honorary guards, though here were also some younger ones. In all, Rowan counted 40 of their number, all with full suits of armor and well-maintained weapons, along with a dozen of horses in the stables. The walls were in decent repair, no major weaknesses or obvious ways around them. That was, unless one could trick the defenders into opening the gates for their enemies. Helena showed everything off with a mix of both eagerness and trepidation. She desperately wanted to know what Rowan had to say, but also dreaded what it might be. This betrayal of her trust made Rowan sick, but he didn't let it show on his face. The weight of Ysera's necklace was something he was keenly aware of. A little over an hour later, Rowan stood on a hill nearby the keep. While still in sight of a small fortress, he was well outside earshot of anyone who might be listening to him as he relayed details of the defenses to his masters. That's about it. I can probably trick the soldiers into letting our forces in if we attack. Unlike most of the Lord's family, they trust me. Very well. When do we launch our assault? Patience, brother. There might be other ways we can still take the keep than the bloodshed you seem to love so much. Besides, our forces may not be up to the task yet. What is your opinion, Rowan? Raeve Keep has military power 150. Launch an assault. Leave for now. Well, that didn't give me a whole lot. Has a military power of 150. Oh, right. And if we... Let's see here. Do I understand shit correctly here? This is the wrong one. Let's check the journal. Quest. Can't actually... Characters? No. Danera? Who's that? We haven't met most of these people yet. I was trying to see the stats for our character. So, since this is in the just in the beginning, I don't think we have enough military power to actually fight against them. Which means they could die pretty soon. Oh shit! I need to check if we can actually overthrow Ysera and Andras. Oh. Jeez. I kind of want to leave it for now. Oh. I see. I have 7.5 steps left. Journal. Allow me to see stuff. Strength. Oh, this is the codex, right? And glossary. Objective. But how... Oh, I guess I can't see that stuff until later. Let's see what we can find. There's really nothing around here, is there? What do we have here? Hills. Nothing really. And there's really nothing down here either. Week 22 is what we have. I guess we have to finish it by week 22. Gotcha. So we can look around for now. And down here are some farmland, it seems. What do we have here? Doesn't say. The Lost Tribes. Rowan trudged through the steep rocky path along the mountainside, careful not to veer too close to the edge lest he fall into the sharp ravine below. There was still some time to his journey, and he would rather not spend it tumbling to an early death. A low growl caught his attention from the cliffs at his side, and before he knew it, a sword came crashing down on his head. Ugh! With expert precision, Rowan unsheathed his own weapon and blocked the surprise attack, forcing his assailant backward. An orcish warrior rolled back onto his heels but kept his stance, wielding his weapon with a strong but slender hand. The male orc was strangely handsome, with white hair softer than snow that brushed over the side of his face and nearly matched his ghostly greyish skin.
Should I do the orc voice? What need have you in our mountain?
Even his speech was different, delivering more intelligence than Rowan expected. Rowan was taken aback, used to having met several grotesqueries among the orcish race. He held himself upright and stared at the orc head on, unwavering in his confidence. Simply passing through. The orc scoffed. Apparently Rowan was not the first to use that excuse.
Doubt it.
The orc attacked again, but despite his strength and experience, Rowan was faster. He disarmed the orc in 2 swift movements, and the orc's sword clanked against the rocks as he tumbled down, echoing across the mountain. The orc gritted his teeth and stared at Rowan, waiting for the next strike that would end his life. It did not come. Rowan offered his hand instead. You needn't look so angry, friend. I have no intention of harming you. I'm just upset that we don't get to see the handsome orc. I'm just trying to find a spot to camp for the night. The orc surveyed Rowan's hand, searching for a trick that was not there, before reluctantly taking it. Rowan helped him to his feet.
What is it you want then? What purpose do you have on our mountain?
To know who have I offended so badly would be a nice start. My name is Rowan. Rowan offered his hand again, but the orc did not take it this time.
Cathar, you're looking for a camp, yes? Follow me.
Ooh, we're gonna enter a orc encampment. Cathar and Rowan weaved through the narrow paths of the mountainside until they came across a small orcish camp set up along the plateau. There was less than a dozen of orcs, including Cathar. Whoopsie! Forgot about power. There we go. And there were less than a dozen orcs, including Cathar. Each of them more slender and pale than the last. Rowan cocked an eyebrow. This was not a lot of giant green monstrosities that was common to his experience with orcs. Cathar noticed him staring as the other orcs eyed Rowan with suspicion, reluctantly making room for him beside the campfire.
We are what you might call the runt of the litter. We've been exiled from our tribes, so we band together and form our own council.
Despite the positive outlook Cathar seemed to have, there was shame in his eyes. Rowan knew firsthand how seriously the orcs took their position amongst their tribes. So to be exiled, it was a great shame indeed. You lead these men then?
Yes.
Cathar and Rowan sat down around the fire while the rest of the smaller band of men passed around bowls of stew. Rowan knew better than to ask of its contents and simply enjoy the warmth of the food provided him. Once everyone had their fair share, another orc spoke up from across the fire.
You were supposed to lead more. Not just us, you know.
What happened? Cathar looked reluctant to answer, but he pushed through, downplaying the events as much as he could.
There is a trial in my tribe to test leader abilities. I did not meet the requirements.
It was a nice way of saying it failed. Cathar looked into the crisp flames of the campfire and a new determination burned in his gaze.
But with some more training, I intend to come back and take my rightful place as leader. They cannot avoid me forever.
Cathar reached out with a stick and stoked the fire, sending embers up into the air. The others around him ate silently, and Rowan guessed with this was not the first time Cathar made such a proclamation. As Rowan surveyed the camp, he had little faith in Cathar's ability to lead this tiny troop, much less an entire army of orcs. Their food supply was greatly dwindling, and the rest of their supplies looked worn through and ready to break at any given moment. Unless someone stepped in soon, they would surely die on this mountain. Someone with a use for orcish fighters. On one hand, perhaps it wouldn't be so bad to leave them. Andras had no idea this little band of orcs existed, so there would be no one to reprimand him for leaving them behind. Bloodsmith would suffer. Surely, if he brought them back, it would add more fuel to Bloodsmith's war machine, and alone here, he was uniquely positioned to get away with it. But so would these orcs, dying out here in the cold from either starvation or other natural elements. Could Rowan live with himself if he did that? Leave them to die, recruit them, and increase army size. That's what I'm thinking here. That's why we couldn't attack Raeve's keep right away, because we don't have enough army. So let's recruit them. Rowan couldn't bring himself to just leave these men out here to die. Cathar and his group offered us sorts of intelligence that he hadn't seen in many orcs, and with any luck, they would prove to be useful both on and off the battlefield. At the very least, Andras would be happy to see more soldiers in his army. So Rowan gave them the offer, repeating the same spiel he had given many wandering orcs and travelers. Cathar seemed reluctant at first, but peering around his ruddy camp, he knew there were few options left to accept. Rowan gave him directions to the castle, and they bid farewell in the morning. Rowan knew Andras would be pleased with his work, and Cathar's group would not die alone in the mountains. It was a win for everyone. Is that a good thing though? Because we are currently the bad guys. I just want to finish this week. I only have 1.5 steps left. So let's see here. Costume, I can't go there. This one costs 1. I can't actually get over here, whatever this is. So let's move over here and cost 1 move. Cost 1 move. I can't move anywhere actually. Maybe I can move up here. Yeah. It's portal room. It's always good to see you. But as I said, that is where we finish today's episode. Not that much happened in this episode. More lore dumping, and we'll see just how much we get to know. And maybe actually before we move out of this place, level 1, can I increase it? Oh, I have 5 skill points. Okay, I see. That was dangerous, but we are a fighter. Brawn, what's that? Can we check it? Perception, stealth, survival is always good. And diplomacy. Rowan's trusty sword. I don't know if this was good or not, but that will do for now. And that is not what I wanted to check. Let's see. No. What is this? MRL. I don't know what this is. So much stuff here. I don't know what anything is really. Oh well. I can't check what Andras warrior force is. So yeah, that will be it for today's episode. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you Josef for donating directly to my Ko-fi page. If you guys want to help me out, you can do so by clicking the link down in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one. And remember, just because you're not the main character, it does not mean you're not important. Goodbye, everyone.